welcome back to Grain and Barley. I'm Joe, that's Beard. Thank you for stopping by. So tonight we're going to be, I've already had them both.
I have not.
Beard tonight is going to be trying Orange Blossom Pilsner and Orange Blossom Pilsner 2. Orange Blossom Pilsner is made with Orange Blossom honey, and it is 5.5% alcohol, and the OBP2 is 11%, so it's double. But before we get into that, how's everybody been? How you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been all right, man.
Nice.
Battling allergies, like I said, losing my voice, regaining my voice. I can finally breathe a little bit.
Well, hey, I'm still on my journey of quitting smoking. I've had a couple here and there, but nothing like I used to. I used to smoke a pack a day, a pack and a half a day, up to a pack and a half a day, I should say. And I've probably had about a pack in 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks now.
That's not bad, man. I'm still on my e-cig.
No. Let's see, I went and got my first shot for the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, how was that?
Yeah, not fun.
Yeah?
I mean, the shot wasn't anything, but dude, I've had a headache since 8 p.m. Tuesday night. I got my shot at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was nauseous, just tired all day, felt like I just couldn't fucking move. And, body aches. Didn't feel right. But I'm glad I went and got it.
Yeah, I heard that's what happens the first shot.
So
I haven't got mine yet.
I mean,
I'm not old like you.
State of Florida just opened up to 40 years old and older to get the shot. Monday, apparently here in the state of Florida, they open up 18 and older. Everybody is eligible.
Yeah, which I think is stupid. If they do 40 and up, then the next week should be like 25 and up. And then the rest of the kids.
But, I mean, dude, listen. It's about time they open it up for everybody.
Yeah, that's very true. We've only been dealing with this for over a year now.
This is true.
Or about a year.
But we should probably get into this beer.
All right. Are we doing the Orange Blossom first?
Yep, just a regular OBP. Fun fact. I used to, I guess I'm going to say help make the beer, even though I didn't actually make the beer. It's weird. I used to work for a company that the owner of this brewery who made this beer, he used to source out breweries to make his beer. And I used to work at Indian River Brewery, and I remember bottling his beer, labeling his beer. I remember him coming in. I've met the owner multiple times back in the day. That was probably about almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, it's a pretty good beer.
Okay, which mine was a little colder.
Yeah.
Mine went from the store to my fridge and sat in there for like 20 minutes, so it's not as cold as I'd like it to be.
Should have thrown them in the freezer. You should have told me. We could have,
I would have forgot.
It's not cold yet.
It's cold. It's drinkable cold.
This is
it's not ice cold.
Beers. Even now that they have their own brewery and everything, it still tastes exactly the same as it did back then. So they're doing something right.
Yeah.
So there is 2.3 teaspoons of pure orange blossom honey in every can. And I do know that, I don't know if it's still as much now, which I'm pretty sure it probably is. So, I mean, they're a Florida beer, well, not a Florida beer company because that's a whole totally different company. But they're a Florida brewing, they're local to Florida only.
Yeah.
Sorry, it takes me a while to get there, but I'll get there eventually.
There is a Florida beer company in Florida.
Yeah.
But
so there's also a Florida brewing company.
I know what you're trying to say. They are a Florida
local
beer
company. Yes. And I do know that whenever, I used to work at the brewery and he'd come in and make his beer in the brewery, I do know that all the honey was locally sourced, as local as possible. And I'm hoping it's still the same as it used to be. But they're from
Orlando.
Yeah, they're from Orlando.
Yeah, I just read that on the
Orange Blossom Brewing Company.
Yeah. Cheers from Orlando, Florida.
They're actually I believe they're part of, let me double check here before I'm wrong, but I believe they're part of Brew Hub.
Okay.
I believe. But yeah, a bunch of different ones. I know the Orange Blossom Pilsner. It's one of my favorite beers. And OBP2, or Squared, however you want to say it. I've been drinking that for a little bit too. So I know these two, but they do have a couple other ones. Like they have City Beautiful IPA, which is, the City Beautiful, Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Orange Blossom toasted coconut porter. So they only have the 4 beers: toasted coconut porter, the City Beautiful IPA, and OBP 1 and 2. So
well, before you ask me if I liked it or not,
I haven't.
My can's empty.
Dude, it's easy. Dude, it goes down quick.
It's super
dude.
smooth.
It is.
It's not overly sweet. It's got enough crispness so you know that it's a beer. It's got a little bit underlying sweet from the honey. It's a damn good beer, man. That's a damn good beer. It's bright, refreshing. One of my
favorite. If I could get this in a keg without spending like $200, $250, I would buy it in a keg all the time. Like this would be my house beer drink all day long.
That'd be a good house beer, man.
I'm not spending. I don't see myself. This is why I buy the beer that I buy for the house beer. You know, Bud, Miller, all that. It's less than $100 for a keg.
Yeah.
This you're gonna probably like $250 for a keg, and I don't know, man. I'd do it all day long if I had the money to do it.
Yeah, I know.
This is like this. It is. This is why it's one of my favorite beers. It's easy drinking. Unfortunately, the problem with this is you can slam it and slam another one and just get completely in trouble.
This is empty.
I mean, you can get in a lot of trouble with these.
It felt like I took like 4 sips.
Yeah. I mean, and dude, the can's pretty as well.
I think OBP. That's a
Well, Tom, he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. This is
I mean, the first time I tried this in 2002, 2003-ish, almost 20 years ago, because that's when I worked at the brewery. It became instantly my favorite beer.
This is a really good beer.
It is. I can't buy it all the time because I'll go broke.
Yeah, and you know me, I like to drink a lot of different beers. I like a lot of German beers. I like ales. I like pilsners. It's hard for me to find like good local beers that aren't doing something super crazy. This is just a straightforward, good local beer. That's
exactly it, man. It is amazing.
Like
he knows how to mix his ingredients, and
I'm really excited for this too now. Like I'm staring at it.
Well, now the two is really good. You're really going to. I mean, I'm not ready because my can's still. I still got some in the can because I only got a couple.
I can pound another one.
I got a couple left. I got like this one and 2 more. So like usually when I buy them, I like drink 1 a week or.
I got 5 left.
Because.
Well, I'm gonna.
I mean, they're not that expensive. I mean, 6-pack's what?
I think it was like $10.
$10, which is not bad.
The 4-pack for the OBP2, I think, was $12. So a little bit more, but you're getting a
double the alcohol.
Yeah.
So we're off to the Orange Blossom OBP 2 or squared. I don't know. I keep seeing different things. People calling it 2 or squared. Let us know if you know. On this one, it doesn't say how much honey is in here, but it does say when you brew coffee using only half the water, you get a pretty potent pot of Java. Yeah. Which got us thinking, why not try that with beer?
I taste more honey in this.
Yeah, a double dose. So they're saying there's a double dose of all the ingredients. So if there's 2.3 teaspoons of honey, that means there's 4.6 teaspoons of honey in OBP2.
It's a lot denser, that's for sure. It's like sweeter.
Thicker.
Yeah, it's sweeter. A really good beer. I will say, though, you can't down the 2 as fast as you can as the first one.
Yeah, there's a lot in this, and it's good.
It's hearty.
Yeah, it is. There's a clear difference between OBP and OBP2. There's a clear difference.
Yeah.
There's more flavor in the OBP2. Like you get more of the.
It's like a condensed.
You get more of the orange. You get more of the honey, but you also get more of a malty flavor.
Yeah.
So
it's a very condensed version of the OBP1.
Yeah.
They are doubling all the flavors or all the ingredients, and it is a 11% alcohol beer, so you are going to get everything condensed down or just doubled. But that's really good, man.
I do.
That's really good.
I knew this one. You were gonna like this.
I came out the gate on the 2 drinking it like the first one, so I took a big gulp. Oh man, I was like, "Ooh, that's dense. That's thick."
This reminds me of like one of those beers that you would just sit and hang on to, sip on. You're not looking to get fucked up. you're just looking to have a good beer, maybe one or two, couple of them, hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, this is a great beer, like, for right now. It's a little cooler outside. Here in Florida, it's cooler.
You know what I really like with this? I'm drinking this, right? And it'd be a really good, like, dinner beer. Something that you're just going to sip on for dinner. Granted, OBP 1 would still be really good for dinner, but you could pound a few of them. This one, it's a good sipper.
But think of this. All right, it's 63 out, 63 degrees outside in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sitting out in the backyard, fire going, drinking this beer.
That's Florida, man.
It'd be perfect.
That sounds great.
I mean, now we don't get too many 63-degree days, but this is the perfect beer for sitting by a fire or just sitting around bullshitting, just not looking to get drunk or just looking to have a good time, just hanging out with friends, family, whoever.
Yeah.
Just, it's a bullshitting beer.
That being said, both of them would be great just to chill with. Both would be great as a pairing with some food.
Yeah. The problem with OBP 1 though is it goes down so
smooth though, and not that it's a bad thing. It's just a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
OBP 2, at least that it's there. It's like, hey,
it is. I mean, OBP is there.
Yeah,
It's so easy to drink it.
The 2 kind of it stays around a little bit longer though. So you can't sit there and chug. I mean, I guess you could, but I can't. This to me is a good sipper. They're both good. They're both great sippers, honestly.
Listen,
this one forces you to sip, though.
If this was perfectly cold,
the
right temperature, and the right koozie, it could last you at least a 30-minute drinker.
Yeah, I said really good for like a dinner.
Yeah,
something that you're gonna sit there and it's gonna sit for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good fucking beer.
Because I haven't taken a sip. I haven't taken a sip in a while, and it's still there in my throat, going, "Hey, this is my flavors. This is what I taste like."
Listen, it could probably help your post-nasal drip.
Oh, I hope so, man. Or make it worse. I don't know. It could be coincidence, though.
So, what do you give the regular OBP orange can?
I'm gonna let you answer that.
I'm gonna give it because it is one of my favorites, and I'm biased because I've been drinking it for so long. Me personally, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10 for the original. And I don't give out high scores too often.
Yeah, no, you don't. I think typically your 9.5 is a 10. You don't go to 10.
I don't go to 10. The fact that I can just keep this around, and I can even let the OBP 2 get room temperature, and I will still drink it, and it still tastes good to me.
It burps really good, though.
That's the problem with beer. That's going to be the problem with our beer.
I just ate 2 big old gulps, too. You know what, honestly, man? My first time having it, 9.
That's 9. A good score.
I'm the same way. I don't give 10s easy. 10s are things that I go back and I try and I tear apart, every flavor profile of it. And then, if everything is like perfect, all the boxes are checked, then it's a 10. I don't have any 10s on my list of beers. This beer, though,
I have a 10 on the list of my beer.
And Miller Lite.
On my beer list. No. So let's get into OBP 2, and I'll go first. The 10 on my list of beers is OBP 2. That is my 10.
Okay.
That is my 10. Because if you taking this, which is a 9.5, 9.5 on my list.
Yeah.
Turning it up, bringing the malt flavor, the honey, and the orange flavor up a notch. It's my 2 favorite beers. And it's the same beer, except one's 11% alcohol, the other one's 5.5.
It's funny because like they do market them as like kind of like the same beer. Because they are using the exact same ingredients, but they are completely different beers.
Mm-hmm.
They're the opposite side of the spectrum using the same ingredients.
They're exactly the same, except for the flavors are just turned to a fucking 11 instead of...
Yeah. Going back to it, OBP 1, man, it's got the crispness that I want in a beer. It's refreshing. I can see it as a replacement for any light beer out there, even though it's not a light beer. But any of those daily beers out there, honestly, man, I'm upping my score 9.5.
I like it.
9.5, man.
I mean, it's there, dude. I told you.
I'm hitting those I have to go back and hit those check marks. Is it hitting the things that I want to do? Can I drink this every day? Can it replace, my stuff for my wings, stuff for my burgers or my steaks or whatever? Yeah, it can. Is it a good barbecue beer? Could I see it put it on my smoker or my water pit or my water container? I would though. I would.
I wouldn't.
But no, that would actually create probably some good smoke flavor though.
Oh, it would. Oh, dude, think about
Like if I was doing some
OBP,
chicken, man.
OBP2,
Yeah.
injected with, whatever your spices you're using in chicken or turkey.
Yeah.
Smoked using applewood. Throw some rosemary in your shit to get some rosemary smoke on that. Injected with the orange blossom. Oh my god, dude. Because the OBP2 has that flavor that is going to punch through like the turkey or the chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That'd be a fucking amazing.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't use OBP1 in my smoker. It's too light.
Two has all the flavors
though.
you want.
So I just took a sip of 2. They are completely different.
They are completely different, but at the same time,
But
they are exactly the same.
Yeah. They're completely different as far as how you have to, drink them, how you can drink them, and the amount of flavor that you're getting. But they're the exact same, just on a much more condensed scale.
Right.
That being said, honestly, 9.5 on the 2, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I know I say malt, and it's not a malt liquor.
Yeah.
But it's a malted barley.
Yeah.
A toasted malted barley, so toasted, what toast are you using? Like that's what I'd like to know. What toast? Because there's a shit ton, just like with whiskey and barrels.
Yeah.
There's different toasts for barley that they use with beer. So like that's something I can't remember. Like I remember picking up bags of barley.
Yeah.
And throwing them up so he could use them.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what toast they were, if it was like a chocolate barley, like a chocolate toasted barley. Or a caramel barley. Like, it's the different toast gives you different flavors and all that stuff. See, beer is actually something I kind of know about.
Yeah. That's the thing with alcohol, man, is like it is 100% a science. And people,
it is. No.
People don't appreciate that.
When I worked at a brewery, I learned something very important. The smartest person in that room is the brewmaster.
Uh-huh.
Not the guy who owns the brewery, not anybody else, but the guy who's making the beer. Brewing beer is technically rocket science.
It's chemical engineering, but without chemicals.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I'd say chemical engineering because you're mixing, things together to get the reactions that you want. And, there is so much that can alter the taste of something or the outcome of something. It blows my mind that's like 17 episodes right there just going to the science of alcohol.
We're not ready for that.
No. I'd love to.
We are not.
But we're not ready for that yet. Like, I love to get in touch with, like, brewmasters or distillers and just talk about, like, the whys and the hows of their process and everything.
Listen, I can tell you this. From my experience, either the brewmaster is completely 100% just laid back and chill, or they're batshit fucking crazy.
I mean...
That's from my experience.
I understand that.
There's a fine line between genius and insanity.
It's a very fine line.
And people who brew their own beer are not going to say insane or genius, but if you know how to do it, you're smarter than most people.
Yeah, and honestly, like, the way I look at...
Like, actually brew your own beer.
Yeah.
Not... Okay, so you got your dad, one of those Mr. Beers.
Yeah.
And, you just add hot water to this and you're good.
All right, hold on.
That's not being...
The Mr. Beer kits and stuff like that is like an easy bake oven for men,
That's basically what it is.
I mean, my dad he likes when he makes his own beer.
Right.
But he's not a brewmaster. He doesn't care that much about that. He just wants the end product to be decent enough to drink.
I made a Tuker style beer.
Uh-huh.
When I worked at the brewery, when I worked at the brewery, they had I guess the county or the city, I don't know what the name of it was like a brew society.
Okay.
A home brew society. They had a competition.
Yeah.
all these people came in and made their own beers, and my boss was like, "Hey, you want to make your own beer?" I was like, "Sure." I was like, "Well," he's like, "Well, what do you want?" I was like, "Well, I really like Tuker." At the time, Tuker's was my favorite. That's before I found this.
I've honestly never
And
had it, man.
Tuker's is still one of my favorites. So like the stuff I learned from that is amazing. So you get your ingredients, you crack all your barley or your ingredient, you crack it, so it's open, so the starches can come out when you're boiling it. So your wort, it's called your wort, obvious, but there are certain times in the beer making process that you do things. Like once it hits a certain temperature, you have to get it down to a certain temperature, but you can't do it immediately. Like you can't just like, okay, pour over this, it's going to cool it down super quick. You have to do it over a certain amount of time. And then while you're so when you're boiling your wort, there's time frames that you can add your hops. So if you're doing more than one hop, like one type of hop, you add this hop, then 15, 20 minutes later, you add your other hop. And then let's say you're adding a third hop. It could be an hour and a half down the road before you add your third hop, right? So, and then you let those steep for a certain amount of time. It has to cool down for a length of a time so it doesn't cool down too quickly, but doesn't stay too hot too quickly. You have to add your yeast at a certain temperature. I mean, it is a complete 100% science.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, because if you don't hit that mark of, like, when things are supposed to be added, if you're...
Right.
Obviously, there's obviously a tolerance thing of, plus or minus this degree. But if you're outside of that, that's going to change the way things taste.
Well...
And it could be good, could be bad, depending on what you're going for, but it's going to change how your baseline is supposed to be.
Right.
Now, it could be a happy accident, or it could be a complete wash in your...
Correct.
The whole batch is done.
It could be fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So, back before I started working there, I thought 90-minute IPA was 90 minutes to drink it. That's not what that means.
Okay.
90-minute IPA that's how long your... I still could be wrong, but from what I remember and understood was like 90 minutes is how long your hops stayed in the batch.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I believe and I do remember, and I could be remembering wrong because I'm old as fuck, and I worked at a brewery when I was in my 20s, and
it's been a while since you've been in the game.
Exactly.
I have lost my voice a little bit.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, man.
It's not that I've lost my voice. My voice is fine.
One of these...
The honey, though, is giving me a lot more phlegm. Because my voice is...
Yeah.
My throat has been dry for like 3 days now from post-nasal drip.
Dude.
So now I'm just like, holy shit. I can actually cough up things.
Cure for the common cold. No. But yeah, I mean, OBP, listen.
Yeah, I would say cure for the common cold is the 2.
Orange Blossom Brewery, if you're listening, let us know what we said wrong, what I was right about. I'd love to hear from you guys.
I figured it out, man. So to me, this could be just me. The 2, because of the condensed flavor, is like if they made mead a beer.
Yes.
But I love mead, and mead is one of those things you can't just chug down. It's a great drink.
It depends on the mead.
I like mead.
It depends on the person.
To me, though, the 2, it might be a 10, man. Going back to it.
I told you.
You know how much I love mead. And this is hitting those marks.
Okay, so we're gonna say malt, but the toasted barley. Okay, so the toasted barley that's in here, because I guarantee you it's toasted. The barley's toasted. Don't know what toasted is. To me, OBP 2 tastes like if you were to take Orange Blossom honey, and put it on toast, and just eat the toast with Orange Blossom honey on it.
I can get that. I can get that. All right. And I've been drinking that too. It's sitting in there. I drank the 1 and went back to the 2. When I recently went back to the 2, it hit a note that I didn't look for when I was initially doing the test. And something just automatically in my brain said, oh, it's a mead. It's a
Well, it's
carbonated
the honey.
mead.
It's the honey.
And, obviously mead is honey wine. And
Right,
this, you're getting the condensed version. And I don't know, man. Like, the OBP 1 is still up there as one of the greatest all-day drinking beer,
dude,
chilling beers out there.
See, this is
this
why
right here, though, the OBP 2, it's something that's different.
Dude, there's flavor.
You have your beers at like one level. Like all your beers hit this level right here. Orange OBP 1 hitting that same level. Here's your beer line. This is just right above it, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's thinking outside the box enough to go, is this really a beer? I know it's a beer, but is it? Can it be something else?
Tom, the owner of OBP, of Orange Blossom Brewery, he knows what he's doing.
You are my new best friend.
I've met him a number of times, like not met, but I met him once and then knew him by name. He knew me by name back in the day. Because even he was there every couple of months. Yeah. He wasn't there like every day or every couple of months because he was just basically, to me, well, not to me, but he was just starting out for the brewery, for stuff.
Hey, he's trying to get his name out there and get everything like, hey, it's my product.
So, come in, shoot the shit with him a little bit, let him get to work, let him do what he was doing. I'd actually ask him a couple questions here and there, because I was interested. Too bad, I left that job and became uninterested. And now I'm interested again.
That's how life works, man. That's how life works.
You know what made me interested in all this all over again? Whiskey.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because with beer, whiskey and beer kind of go hand to hand. They are about the same thing. Not two beers are going to taste alike, so not two whiskeys are going to taste alike.
That's true.
Even if they say with whiskey can come from the same place, aged the exact same time. But so with whiskey, there's sourcing, which OBP used to be sourced.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could have an MGP product, which is a source whiskey. Mm-hmm. All right, you could have somebody in California buy the same whiskey aged for the same time in a barrel at MGP from MGP as a guy in New York aged same time in the same barrel from MGP. They take it, they age it themselves longer, they bottle it. They're going to taste completely different. It all depends on, what you age in, how long, it's weather, all that shit.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with aging it is the climate. If you take someone from, Florida who's getting an MGP, mix, same mix as someone from New York, and they're aging it in, a brand new charter barrel, whatever, and they're aging it in Florida for let's say 5 years, and then New York for 5 years. That Florida and New York difference is going to be drastic.
Right.
Essentially, like, when you were working on OBP1, that was in that production run of, hey, we have this really good product that we want to put to market, but we don't have the capability to necessarily reach those levels that are needed for us to be, available for consumers.
Correct.
Much like, not so much a sourcing thing, but a sourcing thing of just like, hey, I have this idea, I have these ingredients, but I need to contract you guys in order to get it available to a broader audience of people.
Yeah. So we have an average of the two beers tonight of what, 9.75?
Yeah, I would say 9.75.
Well, yeah, if there's anything you would like us to review, and if you want to donate to the reviews, email us at info@grainandbarley.com.
What I'd like to do is at least close it out for the podcast.
Well, let's go.
The rest can be for Twitch. All right. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future shows, send us an email at info@grainandbarley.com. You can find all of our show links, our links to our social media, and our merchandise store at grainandbarley.com. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Later.
Love and chicken grease. We out.
know you're making it harder for me to edit this later, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I hate you.